I'll fix it because a second.
Oh, no. And we're live. Welcome.
Is this a sign of things to come, the dear?
Chris, like, with having you on the show today, I thought we're going to bring an air of professionalism, quality. You've done the preview, so I thought this is going to, we'll bring the gaffer in and it'll be perfect. But hello and welcome to Hey Ho and Let's Go. Sponsored by Tyre Spot. We don't just do tyres, we do car inspections too. Bring your car down.
They do everything, mate. They do everything at Tyre Spot.
Including not just wheel alignment. They do MOTs and all of that sort of gubbins. So if you need a quality tyre place, Tyre Spot's your place, but also for all your other car needs. There you go.
Good job this doesn't go out as audio, isn't it?
I know. Well, as if you didn't know, it's Hey Ho, Let's Go, the pre-game show. And we are playing Brentford today. It's a 2 p.m. kickoff from the G-Tech Stadium, I believe it's called. So thank you very much to Raza and for our fearless leader, Chris, for joining us this morning. I really appreciate it. You join me down in my basement in the deepest depths of Canada where it's just started to snow. And it's early November. Wow, amazing. Raza?
Did you have to look at your watch for the month? Or was it
I was going to give you the date, but I was like, oh, no.
It's got one of the snow watches on.
Yeah. Raza, how we doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. All is good. It's November here as well. And
is it?
It's 2 minutes past 1. And all is good, mate. All is good. Pretty bleak, miserable day here in Gateshead, but hoping 3 points come the end of the match today, I'll brighten things up. So
aye. Chris, how's things with you, my friend? Are you looking forward to today's game?
Things all right here. Whether or not I'm looking forward to today's game is a completely different question, mind. Especially the way we've been away from home. It's like. I think the fact that we're going into a national break, I think this game means a little bit more right now because you don't want to go in on the back of a defeat. But having said that, is a point enough right now for us as a club and us as a fan base as well? There's an argument in itself.
Yeah. I mean, let's get into the lineup. Most people will have probably seen it on social media already. One change from the game against another team in red and white, which is Athletic Bilbao. And it's the only swap is Gordon, who we pretty predicted was going to be out, and Murphy steps in for him. Raza, obviously,
Bonds in.
Murphy steps in for Gordon. That's what I said.
Bonds in, isn't he?
Oh, Bonds is in. It's Bonds for Gordon. Bonds for Gordon. There you go. Professionalism at its highest level, Chris. Raza. Obviously, Gordon's not really been doing it Premier League wise. Something about his body language, or there's just something not right with him. When he's on a hot streak, he's hot, but when he's not great. So, does this give Bonds a really, really big opportunity? A player who enjoys a run in a team and starts, he needs a run in a team to start getting to his best form, more than most.
I think so. I mean, for me. I think, me and the lads, we spoke about it. We haven't seen the best of Gordon since sort of before. Was it prior to the Euros or the World Cup? A couple of seasons ago when he was absolutely outstanding. He was on fire. And now he scored a couple of goals in the Champions League. A lot was made the other night, but you've got to remember 2 of them were penalties. So he hasn't been on form. And I'll be honest with you, he was shocking the other night. He was absolutely terrible, and obviously went off injured. I'll be quite annoyed if he plays for England, mind. I think he needs a bit of a rest, if I'm honest with you. Same as Joe Linton. Joe Linton hasn't been firing, and now he scored the other night. But there's a lot of them who are starting to look, how can I put it, leggy. Like they're just They're running on empty. They've either got an injury or they're running on empty, you know.
I think the good thing, just to jump in, Raz, I think the good thing is that I don't think Joe Linton got called up to the Brazil squad this time around. I don't think he did.
I agree with you,
which is good for us.
It's a good thing. Yeah, because I mean, the last international break, I think, him and Bruno did they end up going to Korea or something, you know?
They got halfway there and had to turn back, didn't they?
Well, I mean, you know, that kind of be good for you. And I don't even think it was just a friendly game or something, you know. It wasn't even like a qualifier for them. So the bonus is obviously Joe Linton hasn't been called up as well. But then again, they don't get called up, but they'll go in their private jets and he'll probably go back to Brazil, you know, for like a couple of days and come back. So in terms of Barnes coming in, I'm pleased for him, but for me, for Barnes, there's no, how can I put it? There's no happy medium. He's either not very good or he's outstanding, you know. There's like, when he comes on, he can either turn a game, score a wonderful goal, or it bypasses him, you know. So I'm hoping he does get like a little run, depending on how long Gordon's out for. Obviously, we've got the international break, you know. I'm hoping he comes in today and has a blinder. Fingers crossed anyway. But after the performance against West Ham, they all need to turn up the day. You know, it wasn't just all on Gordon. It was on every single one of them. From the goalkeeper all the way to the big fella up top. We were shocking that Sunday. And yet, you know, I can take getting beat, but not putting in the performance or caring.
Yeah, that away. I mean, you know, the elephant in the room is the away form. Apart from USG, there's not really been obviously the Villa performance was good, but we didn't score. Away from home, Chris, it's got to start now, hasn't it? It really does. And no better place than Brentford, I guess, but we just need a win from somewhere.
We've been shocking, mate, and I don't necessarily think it's the opposition that we're coming up against today with it being Brentford. I think if it had been any away game, because we're being so bad this season, I think no matter who we're versing, I know, yes, there's some very, very difficult grounds to go to across the country, but because of this international break, and because if you just look at West Ham have put 2 back-to-back wins together now, 3-1 against us, then 3-2, I believe it was, yesterday against Burnley. And they played well yesterday, to be fair. And you've got us going away from home. And you look at it, if you go all the way, I hate to do this to these lads, but if we go all the way back to the Leeds game, we saw signs there that, yes, I know we didn't have a striker in that game. So we're using that as an excuse to start with. And we're just haven't addressed it since then, really. Like, we're just so bad. Was it 2 goals away from home? We are absolutely dreadful. Like, a shocking stats, that, you know. Yeah. And I think if we had been looking at any other football club with that sort of away form, we began. Like, they're desperate right now. They're desperate. Yeah, they're in trouble. Yes, home games. You look at newly promoted teams and think, well, they need to rely on their home games. That's how I'm feeling at the moment, because we are so bad away from home. Yeah. And we're just looking at the home games thinking, well, that's where we're going to pick up points. And it just doesn't always work out like that. So I think the biggest thing about today is that break coming up. You don't want to go another break on the back of a defeat. And like I said, I predicted a 1-1 draw in the match preview. And Andy pointed out to me straight away, and he was correct to do so. He said, is that enough? Yeah. Which I don't think it is right now. I think right now we need to win. We need to bounce back. And Eddie said that we're bounced back midweek game against Bilbao, but Bilbao was shocking, absolutely shocking. They weren't a great football team. Yeah. So we need to put those consecutive wins in place and continue that momentum into the Premier League. You just have to.
Yeah.
What did you make of? Sorry to interrupt, Rog. What did you make of last week against West Ham? We know Eddie doesn't change his formation that often. I've seen somebody just put a comment on there. What did you make of his subs? Because I was baffled by some of his subs last week. Like, they just didn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So,
I think not having, we seem to have options everywhere, but up front, and not having Wissa available, not having Asula available, like it just makes us look so, really one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Obviously, going into the season, signing Wissa, everybody would probably assume, and I think Eddie Howe alluded to this in his press conference, that it would be Wissa who would be starting. The idea was we can get Wissa in, any additional forward that we get is then going to be bedded in slowly, like you did with Bruno, like you did with Botman, like he likes to do with his players, to kind of just gradually, even Chow this season, he didn't start the games this season, but he's obviously shown very quickly that he's very, on top of how we want to play, how Eddie Howe wants him to play. But it comes to something when you're like looking and seeing Asula in the stands and thinking, we could really do, we could really do with that extra player just to help out, just to have a little bit of variety in our game. I mean, a couple of people on the chat there were talking about time for a new formation. I mean, then you're getting into desperation stakes around, managers thinking, right, I'm going to start playing 3-5-2 now. I'm going to go back to a flat back 4, like 4-4-2 old school. I just think, what options up front are really, really limited. And we haven't seemed to... Luckily, Baltimore started the season pretty well and scored the goals, but they've kind of masked the fact that we're not actually yet able to play completely to his strengths. Because for me, Baltimore should be... He's dropping in, and that should be Gordon, Alanga, Murphy, Barnes. Like, they should then be going in that space. But for some reason, we're not getting the timings right. Maybe it's because the midfield balls aren't coming in. Maybe things are a bit too compacted when he does drop in there. And then we seem like we've got nobody in the box. So I think there's a lot of things that need to start to click. The press have been asking Eddie Howe about this. When is the team going to click? And I just hope we don't get to like January and we're still asking the same question about whether this team's going to click or not. I really do. So I don't know. It's a massive.
You know what it is, Roger? Like I know as a fan base, we want the team to get results and we want performances. And I think Reza knocked it up the nail on the head before, saying you don't mind losing games. Of course you don't. It's when your team just doesn't look interesting. That's exactly what we get against West Ham. I think that West Ham game is probably the first time for a long time where Eddie Howe would have looked at that and went, what are you doing here? Because the substitutions were meant to, like Reza alluded to, taking Big Nick Voldemort off at half time. Like, baffling. Absolutely baffling. When you've got a Sula that's just going to run around like headless chicken for a little while. You needed somebody to create something, and that's the one that's going to do that. That's the one that's going to try and bring the rest of the team into play. Yes, he might not always be in the right positions to score the goals, but he's going to keep on attempting to bring other players around him. And that's probably the first time I thought, you've got to take some of this blame as well. It's not all on the players at this point. Just that comment that you just showed from Paul Chambers, a West Ham fan, saying like, do you think you missed an alternative to the big man up top?
Yeah.
We do. And it's something which nobody expected because, like you mentioned, Roger, Wissa was the one that was brought in as that ready replacement for Isak. He was going to be in, and like you said, Voldemort, I would get that time to adjust to the Premier League. Luckily for him, he's been chucked in the deep and he's done very, very well from doing that. But unluckily for us, we don't have an alternative right now. Like, we literally have nothing. But like, you look against Bilbao and we're playing Alanga up top at one point. Like, crazy, like absolutely crazy. So I think it will come. My big question mark is with Wissa is he's got that big competition to go to. He's going to get ready to. He's going to get fit. Then he's going to piss off and go and play for Dr. Congo.
Yeah,
like
Dr. Congo. do you really think? I mean, there has been, sort of. I think Keith from Sky Sports maybe was the one that was kind of intimating that maybe Raza that Wissa might not go to the African Nations Cup and kind of stay. He's obviously not. He's not going to be fit.
Yeah, I mean, as a Newcastle fan, I'd love him not to go. However, you kind of tell a player, no, you're not going to represent your country because a lot of. I mean, you hear like Sashira talk and stuff like that. Representing their country was the highest honor that they'd had in football, So you kind of tell them, no, you're not going. I mean, I'd love for him to see, actually, what he's, I haven't played for you yet, and you signed this and I got injured. International duty, I'll give it a miss. That ain't going to happen. If he gets called up, he's away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do to stop him. I just worry even more. I would hate to think he would go away and possibly not be 100% and do further damage. but who knows? But I can't see him, rejecting.
I think the issue that you have,
Raza,
Reza, is if he's not 100% fit, that international manager does not care. Like, he does not care. Like, he will literally roll him out. You're 70% fit, get yourself away, mate. It's a small tournament in regards to lengthwise compared to like a Premier League season. So he'll take all the risks for his team to get as far as it can. He won't give a shit about Newcastle.
Yeah. I know obviously Elanga's on the bench today. He has been a big talking point for the last.
I think this is where I'll leave.
Since he started. Like, when I look at Elanga, I think of Jacob Murphy. And when Jacob Murphy first came to Newcastle, what were his main problems that he had with his play? It was his final ball and his decision making. Like, it was terrible. And now, arguably, Jacob Murphy, because of Eddie Howe's input, his final ball and his decision making is really, really improved. Like, I like Elanga. I'm still on the Elanga boat, but Raza, what do you think? Like,
see, the thing is for me, like, we're not talking about a player who's come from, say, another league. You know how sometimes you get them to come from abroad and you've got to give them time to settle in and stuff like that. Yeah. We're talking about a kid who's had a couple of seasons playing really, really well, by the way, at Nottingham Forest. Like, we fully, I did. I don't know about yourselves. I fully expected him just to come in and, set the ground running. He's not one of these ways. He's got to learn a new language, or he's fitting into a new league. Like, he should have been there from the get-go. And unfortunately, he's not. I mean, we're talking about a player who he runs. Oh, back, lads. We went off there.
I lost.
Was it you turning a dog?
Robotic
Raza hour, yeah.
See what happens when you went to the Elanga.
And
I just give a great piece of like insight and stuff like that, right? You've missed it.
No. I mean, we caught most of it, Raza. We caught most of it. Basically, he should have settled in. He hasn't settled in. Why hasn't he settled in?
Like,
yeah. So, Chris, are you kind of thinking Elanga's? He needs. What does he need? What does Elanga need then, Chris? If he's, if he is to be,
he needs to start playing better. That's what he bleeding needs. Yeah. Like, just end of. Like, he's like, do you know what? It's at the start of the season. Well, yeah, at the start of the season, I said, well, maybe it's because we aren't playing with a striker.
Yeah.
And you were expecting him to come in and play alongside that rat that's now on Merseyside. And obviously that didn't happen. But then even the times that you've seen him, whether that's starting games or coming off the bench, I guess he's done all right in the Champions League. But once again, I just go back to comparing the Champions League standard right now to the Premier League standard. There's a huge difference in that, like a huge difference. And we've seen it so far with the teams that we came up against, Barcelona, which will give a good run for the money as well, to be fair. I don't know what needs to happen with him, Roger. Like, he needs a goal. He desperately needs a goal.
Yeah.
Will that solve things? I don't know. Maybe he just needs a bloody assist. Like, just give him one of them. Like, we need something. And people will argue that he needs a run of games. We've argued this against Willock before. Like, Willock needs a run of games. Like, no. Like, if you're coming from a Premier League team that had done very, very well last season, it's alarm bells for me when you can't just go to what we would arguably say a better team with better players around you and not perform as well.
Yeah. It is a bit of a mystery. It is a bit of a weird one. Just going into the sort of lineup today. Obviously, the photograph on the podcast intro was Malik Chow, who's just been an absolute joy to watch so far this season. It'll be an interesting battle between him and Thiago, who's a kind of lone forward. I think they play him, and then they play the three behind, and then you'll play Henderson and I think it's Yarmulke in midfield, sort of at the base of that. Chow's just looked like a Rolls Royce of a player, hasn't he, Raza? Like, he started his career so well at Newcastle. Silence speaks 1,000 words
I
there,
lost, I
Raza.
lost you there, lads. It went off.
Raza, I was just talking about Chow and how he's come into the team seamlessly, unlike Alanga. What is it about him that sort of made him so popular and he's performed so well?
Oh, I lost you again there, Rog.
How good's Chow? How good's Chow?
How good Chow is. It reminds us a lot like when Botman come. He's calm, very good on the ball. Him and Botman are starting to create a nice little partnership as well. So fingers crossed that both can stay injury free. And then when we get Tino and Hall back in, I would like to think that will be we're back four. But no, he's a great player, and fingers crossed he can stay fit.
Yeah. Just coming on to kind of a broader talking point that's inevitable when you're going through a series of games, taking away from home where you're not necessarily performing, you're not picking up wins. The internet is a horrible space, as we all know. But there is a lot of, chatter about Eddie Howe and, that there is a tiny, tiny Howe out brigade, which I just can't believe himself. Surely, it's absolutely unbelievable, isn't it, Chris, that you would even consider Eddie Howe's position being under any threat? It's ridiculous.
Of course. Yeah, of course, mate. And you don't, people, I see more people complain about people wanting Eddie Howe out than what I see people actually wanting Eddie Howe replaced. It's mad. Obviously we put a lot of videos out, and you will get the odd comment from people saying that Eddie's time's come to an end now, or it's coming to an end, and we're just waiting for a couple of more results to go against it, and a decision will be made. It's way far from that. Completely far from that. I think even if we have a bang average season, and what I mean by a bang average season, just like that comment saying that one X amount of games, yes, in all competitions, if you're looking at the League Cup and if you're looking at the Champions League, yes, we have done well. Our bread and butter should be the Premier League. We've been a Premier League team for a long time now. Yes, obviously we had 2 spells out of it for just the 2 seasons, but we know the Premier League, and over the last few seasons we've done very, very well in the league. I just don't understand why you would want this vicious cycle that we've got going on at the moment, where as a fan base, you want to qualify for Europe, no matter what Europe competition that may be, if it's Conference, Europe, or Champions League. But then you get in these tournaments and competitions, then you say, oh, there's too many games, we're getting injuries up, we don't have enough time on the training field to prepare the team. Then you end up in this area where we are in this horrible mid-table area and thinking, oh, well, we're not going to get European football, everything shit. What do we want here? What do we want? I think at the end of the day, yes, these competitions like the Champions League, your cup competitions, whatever, great. But as a football club behind the scenes, and I know as a fan base we don't look at this, but the likes of the owners will want you to finish as high as possible in the Premier League because that's where it brings you the money in.
Yeah. And
if we don't do that, we don't get in these competitions. And I think as a fan base, honestly, you're probably looking at less than 10% that probably want Eddie replaced. But I think if the season continues the way it's going with away fixtures and not catching up with the pack that's starting to get a little bit away at the moment, that's when your owners have a decision to make.
Yeah.
And that decision is solely based on finances. That's what it's based on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you say about that, that gap, you start looking at these games and we're sitting in 14th, I think they're 13th, or I think it's something right. Yeah, we're 14th, they're 13th. If we win, we get to 15 points, but then we're still within that middle pack. We're not, a few games ago, if we'd won, then you're still in touch with the top 6. Whereas now we're just trying to keep within, near the top of that middle tier of the Premier League. Raza.
But yeah, Roger, just to jump in, your next 2 away fixtures, obviously you've got Brentford today, then in the Premier League it's Everton away, and that's the team that's above it and the team that's directly below it, was sandwiched between those 2 teams. If you look at those 2 fixtures, and I know we've been honking away from home, but if you look at those thinking, right, 6 points from that, then
you're back in the game.
It looks a little bit better at that point in the season, especially with Man City shooting in between those.
Yeah, it's it's a really crucial part of the season, particularly with the, Eddie Howe, I think, talked in his pre-game about November, December, January. It's going to be an absolute nightmare of fixtures. Raza, do you think that, with the players that we've been playing at the moment, we've got obviously Big Nick has been sort of shouldering a lot of the burden. Do you think it's important that we try and get Asula and definitely Wissa back, at least in the match day squad?
You've got to, because like you mentioned before, I don't know about you guys, but come 60, 65 minutes of a game, we kind of know what subs are going to be made. We're a bit predictable in that sense. You know who's going to come off and who's coming on, etc. You need options. It's as simple as that. Like if the big fella, he's got a lovely touch, and he scored a few goals, but he's not what you would say number 9. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's not a main striker. Wissa obviously was going to be made to come into that position, and we know what happened. So we need reinforcements back in. I mean, just to pick up on Chris's point earlier on, I think the worrying thing for me would be if we didn't finish in a European place at the end of the season, because the Tonali story will come out again. Where yes, he signed his contract extension, but he's the best footballer at our club at the minute.
Yeah.
And if he hasn't got European football, you can't blame him for wanting to be away mind. You know what I mean? So I think a decision will be made on Eddie Howe if we didn't get European football, because that's what the owners want. You know what I mean? So we do need 3 points a day, lads, don't we? Because it's just desperate. Like we need to kick on. We say you're only as good as your last match. Well, and that was Champions League, but we've got to win. So they should be going in with a bit of confidence and get into the international break, where we're not just all doom and gloom, because you want 3 points a day and you want to look forward to your next game, and a bit of confidence, build that momentum, because that's what we haven't had this season. We're going into, we'll play that, but like there's no momentum, and we're almost enemy at times, you know what I mean? So fingers crossed we get something.
Well, Roger, I think it just like glaringly obvious. Like we'll put 3 back-to-back home wins on the bounce. Then as soon like you go to that West Ham game and you're thinking, there's our chance. There's our chance to get that away win. Then bang, the worst performance you've not just seen this season, but probably the worst performance you've seen under Eddie Howe's management of the club as well. It was shocking, absolutely devastating performance from us. Like I can't get over how bad it was. And there's people out there saying, West Ham's time would have came some point. No, piss off. We were shocking. We were shocking. The reason they won yesterday is because of us the weekend before.
Yes,
Good to give them a bit of confidence. Just sort of focusing on today's game. When I look at the lineup for Brentford and I see that name in goal, he has done us a few favours over the past couple of years. I remember he chucked one in when Shaw equalised against Liverpool, and then I remember seeing his name on the team sheet that Kelleher against us in the cup final. We've got to be trying to put things on top of him, haven't we? I do think he is a little bit dodgy. There's something about us and him that we can get on top of him. Like we need to be on top of him straight away, don't we?
We need to be at it from the off. It's as simple as that. From the first whistle, we need to be out there showing that we want it, get stuck in. One thing that I think we're lacking as well, remember when we had that little bit of nastiness about it? Well, not nastiness, that's probably streetwise, when every team hated we years, a couple of seasons ago.
Roger. Just
we need to bring that back, because like we're just a little bit too nice now, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we want to be everybody's pal. Well,
it's like it's below us now to be a little bit.
It's like one of them. Like, we're finishing the Champions League. Like, we're this. Look, forget about it. Just get back to what we were doing. Like, get Nick Pope to sit on his arse. Sort of 60 minutes into a game and slow things down and have.
These days, Roger, because we're frigging losing at that point.
We're usually 2 goals down and like the game, but.
He's normally picking the ball and he's
I think unsettling, like getting the crowd annoyed, making a negative atmosphere for them, getting their players moaning about stuff, like, and just playing on the boundaries of what is acceptable. Like we need to get back to that. Like that
because it worked for us. A few seasons ago, that absolutely, it worked in our favour, and I just feel we've lost a little bit what we were.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and now we've lost one certain player, but he doesn't make a team. But it just seems like there's something just not clicking. You know what I mean? Going back to basics and back to what we're doing best.
I think the frustrating thing for me is that, you know, we're missing Hall and Livramento, and I think
massively,
despite the fact they play, you know, they're just fullback. Speaking as a former fullback myself, but they bring so much opportunity, so much pace into the game, because I think it would improve Gordon's game.
Yeah,
it would improve, you know, because defenders and midfielders are like, well, they know that Hall's going to go on, and they definitely know that Tino's going to go on, and then that just creates spaces in other areas, and we had that down, and it's just those two injuries happening pretty much around the same time have really knocked with and really made things rather difficult to try and get us into a bit of a rhythm. You know, Dan Burn's done admirably at left back, as he always does, but despite the fact he just try and bomb on a little bit, he's one dimensional in that respect.
Yeah. He's a centre half, isn't he? You know what I mean? So
yeah. So I think that's kind of killed her a little bit, but I do hope to see. Chris, do you think Hall will get on today? Do you think there'll be, or in what sort of circumstances do you think he'll come on today?
I think no matter what, we'll probably see him.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the result is at a certain time. I think it's probably the correct thing to do to get some minutes. Obviously, you got the minutes against Bilbao, and he looked unbelievably impressive when he came on, driving in the middle of the field. And you can tell that he's still got those attributes for when he used to play midfield.
Yeah.
In his younger years, even though he's still young in these days, but you can tell he's still got those attributes, and he pulls them out of the bag when he needs to, because he always looked at drifting inside into the field.
Yeah.
And he looked so comfortable doing it. And you could tell just from that brief little cameo that we saw in the Champions League from him that's what we'll be missing from both flanks. And I know we'll kind of look at the wingers and put a lot on their shoulders, saying that they haven't been performing as well as what they should be. But then I think in the same sense, you've got to put that bit of caveat in there and explain the situation, what's happening behind them as well.
Yeah.
Trips is not a bad player, but he just doesn't push on as much as what he used to, because he just categorically can't do it. Yeah, he just can't do it. Kraft, he looks so rusty when Kraft came on. I know he's not he's just back from injury as well, but Kraft, he's being reliable when called upon, but he's not what you want to be starting games. And Dan Burn, like you mentioned, Roger, when called upon, he does a very, very good job in the majority of situations at left back. But once again, he gets past the halfway line, then he just doesn't act as a fullback when he gets beyond that halfway line. Yes, he's put a couple of decent balls into the box, but he just seems to drift into that striker role. He must realize that Big Nick's not there and think, I'm just going to stand here for a little while.
Yeah.
Then you just see him trying to run back. And he's got some almighty strides on him, but Jesus, he's not the fastest,
Yeah. I was surprised to see Henderson go to Brentford at the start of this season. Seems like he started pretty well. But is he a player, do you think, that we can try and isolate and get into, Raza? Being a horrible Macam and all that?
You know what? Instead of worrying about them, we should just be playing our own game. You know, you don't want to be saying, get into him type of thing. All three midfield, which before the West Ham game you would say are probably three of the best. All three need to prove they're three of the best again. Because, and we keep on going on about it, but it was the manner of defeat against West Ham we were shocking. And that's what Captain Bruno as well. He was non-existent. Joe Linton was non-existent. And Tonali, who I loved a bit, he wasn't there, So never mind the Macam. Just concentrate on our own game and just get it right from the off. I can't stress enough. There's too many games we don't start from the off. We take it, 10, 15 minutes to get into it. You can't do it against a team like Brentford because they're well organised and drilled, The long throws, the set pieces. They'll be, they had a record, I think it was it last season where they'd scored in the opening minutes of so many games at home. So we've got to, we've got to be switched on the off, and we've got to day it the day, because if we're going into the international break and we're on the back of another defeat, that's like nearly 2 weeks of doom and gloom again. You know what I mean? So just get in, maybe leave a cheeky one on him in the centre circle if you're Joe, and that would do me.
I do with Bruno. Like it's a funny one because he's clearly one of the best midfielders we've had at the club. And he's been my captain, but you get almost two players in one game because you'll get in the first sort of 45, 50 minutes, he'll be losing the ball. The thing is, he wants to be progressive, so he is going to lose the ball. But like sometimes he loses it in our third, and sometimes he looks a bit cumbersome when he's turning and looking for things. But then you'll see him pop up in the 96th minute in our box, like he did, like a few games ago. Like, so his engine's incredible, but it seems to take him a little while to get going. And we're just, like we've said repeatedly, I think so far today, we just cannot afford to have that lazy streak at the very start of the game. We need to be straight at it. Mm-hmm. Tonali is a funny one as well, Chris. I feel like the murmurings are already starting in the press around leading towards the summer.
I think they've ever went, Roger. Yeah. I think they've always been there with Tonali. Like the whole situation with Isak in the summer, I think what pissed fans off was how I had been blindsided by that. And like we thought because we got Champions League football, then all our problems were solved. And it was far from that. Yeah. I think the fact that he didn't say anything until the transfer window was already rolling at this point and it was already open. Then he's refusing to train for it. But then I think, do you know what it is? Fair play to Tonali. Like he's came out and he said, "Well, I'll just go year by year." Like, and that's how it should be. Like at least he's putting his stall out straight away for us as a fan base and saying, "Well, I don't want to say I'm going to be here for the next 10 years because that's not going to be the case." When you flip it around, you look at Bruno. Bruno's, "I'm staying here until the day I die." And I don't mind that. I might be in the minority across the fan base, but I don't mind that. I think we're still in this period as a football club. Yes, we've had a takeover and we're one of the richest clubs in the world, etc. But we're far from being that sort of club that the media try and portray it as, because we can't afford to pay these top players the wages that other teams can, and we're going to be a long, long way off that. Like we're years off that, like miles away from it. So players like Tonali are going to go, and yes, it might break my heart to see it, but unfortunately, it's going to happen. Like I don't want it to happen, but it's going to happen. And I would rather Tonali said exactly what he said the other day, than sit on the fence about it or just completely disregard the option of leaving this football club. At least we know, and at least the likes of the management, the coaching staff, the owners know exactly where his head's at as well, because you don't want another situation as what we had in the summer. Like categorically not. So fair play to him. Like I don't think he was saying it out of any sort of malice to the football club or anything like that, and saying, "Oh well, I don't want to be here." It was basically I'll see what happens at the end of the season, and fair play to him.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair enough. So just with a slight divergence away from kind of this game today, I know it is a pre-game, but we've got to meander slightly. I don't know if you lads have spoken about this previous, but they mentioned Eddie Howe about this, the music at the beginning of the games at St James's Park and all this carry on, and how they've changed the order, and like to me it's like, well, it's a no. Is it a story? Is it not a story? But like, it's one of those ones where
it's a story, Roger. Like
it's like you're shooting yourself in the It's in pre-game stuff like that should be easy wins for the club. There shouldn't be making a story out of, by making any changes that are really unnecessary, in my opinion.
Just get local hero play and end of. That's as far as I'm concerned. It's been the anthem, pre-game anthem, that was as long as I can remember. You know what I mean? Like,
sorry, Raz. I think the best thing about local hero when it's playing, right, and when it until they decided to change it because the players and the coaches thought that it should have been Blaine races, and albeit that shit version of Blaine races that they played in St James's Park as well.
The shittiest one to play as well,
And as a fan base, we can't sing that in time as each other. We don't know the lyrics to it as well. There's all different songs going off, like. At least with Local Hero, you don't have that. And Local Hero, I can't remember who it was, but I can't remember if it was somebody from the Monday show or one of the previews or one of the comments that came in from that we get. They said that you look at, like, you're watching Match of the Day as a kid, And when it pans to St. James's Park, when it's Newcastle United versus whoever it is, it starts with local hero. Newcastle United, St. James's Park is known for local hero. And the way local hero ends with
and then
the fans like that. That's exactly what you want for kickoff. I don't want somebody who's singing the wrong words of bloody blading races as a player's about to kick the ball off. Like, not a chance. Like they need to change it back. And like you say, I think the press have got every right to look at that and say, well, why? Why did you change it? Because I'm not happy about it. I've had a season ticket for 14, 15 years now. And like, it's all I remember. Like, that's what match day is to me. Like, that's what, if I remember kickoff, that's what it is.
It's just an unnecessary change. Like, I don't understand, like, why you would even, like, there's so much other stuff going on at the club. Like,
exactly. Like, why you bothered yourself in it? You know what I mean? Like, especially when we're on about performances and shit like that, he's got bigger shit to think of, you know, than the song at the start. And it hasn't done them any fucking good, has it? So get it back to the way it used to be.
Speaking of pre-game and songs and stuff like that, I'm sort of trying to start. I've had a couple of attempts over the years about trying to get, a bit of a push behind, a bit of a Harry Palmer situation arising at St. James's Park pre-game. Like, for those of a certain vintage, Harry Palmer was like the soundtrack.
Brilliant. Slap your last Christmas tree.
Like, domestic issues aside, like,
I can hear all that flapping downstairs, by the way, she's listening to this. So.
Like, there's so many, like, some of the Premier League music that they put on before the games is just an absolute aberration. Like, I just absolutely hate that, that pre-game where they play that game. And I think that's actually, that's a big part of, like, it just, like, the atmosphere when they're playing that stupid music. Like, we do need to get a bit of, like, I think we need Bestie, right? Chris, can you get onto Bestie instead of this, searching for Philippe Albert?
I don't think Bestie's the right choice to make a documentary about finding somebody that's gone missing mind.
Can we get something going on where we try and find Harry Palmer? Like,
I've still got his cassette. So
there you go.
I've got a tape player. I can give him it.
Get yourself up to St. James's Park. So
just walk around the pitch with it, Razza.
Get to a blaster.
Like, Harry Palmer was like a staple.
I mean, I remember Harry Palmer playing in the centre circle.
Yeah.
Back before the ground was, like all seated. We had the Leesers end up in the Gallowgate. I remember him playing with his acoustic guitar. You know what I mean? I met him in the HMV on Northumberland Street now.
Did you?
Brilliant. Aye. It's a bit starstruck, you know what I mean? So
I bet you were. And you,
he was, or you were.
And you, Razza, and you don't get starstruck.
I wasn't a YouTuber then, you know what I mean? Influencer. Can I call myself one of them?
You can.
Call yourself whatever you want, Razza.
But
no, bring back Harry Palmer. You've heard it here now.
Yeah, I think we need to start a campaign. It needs to go viral to get Harry Palmer back at St. James, because even his version of the Blading Races is better than the one that we've got at the minute. Like,
that fan version is the worst.
It's like terrible, isn't
it? Like, it's just absolutely awful. And actually, there's a couple of tunes on. I have the bands listen to on the way to school. We listen to Harry Palmer. We Will Follow United.
Yes.
And then, but there's another one on the. It's like a Newcastle fans, like a Newcastle album. It's got a Kevin Keegan song on, but it's got like
the helicopter and come back with Terry McDermott from Disaster.
No, it's got one that Kevin Keegan actually sang.
All right.
I think from his time at Liverpool or wherever when he was sort of flirting in the 70s with being a bit of a pop star. But there's a one like it goes like Can in Newcastle, and it's a bit like it's like, how Everton have a lot of older songs, or a lot of these teams that have like Tottenham play like old songs from
yesteryear from the
there's a couple of really absolute bangers. Like,
I mean, we've got what do you call it, Busker as well, haven't we? Coming home Newcastle. I mean, I always remember that being played before the before the game as well. But we always specifically come out the local hero, and like, why change shit up? Like, especially like the management of the players have got bigger fish to fry at the minute. You know what I mean? Start changing things when we're sitting sort of up there, and we're comfortable. But just take it back to what we know. Like, I think
Especially when home performances on the issue.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Aye,
exactly.
But like Chris summed it up, you ask anybody anything about Newcastle, you know, and they'll associate local hero
Yeah.
with our anthem. You know what I mean? So bring it back. And Harry Palmer.
And Harry Palmer. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep flying the flag for Harry Palmer, Raza, on
Hashtag
X.
Harry Palmer.
Hashtag finding Harry Palmer for bestie. Right, so we're getting very close to the kickoff, Raza, and I know the fan zone downstairs will be pumping, so I don't want you missing out on your pre-game drinks. So we'll get
How about the pink lemonade, did you?
Oh yeah.
Cocktails, pink lemonade.
Where did was it on offer at Farm Foods or what?
No, it was a next recorded Sainsbury's 4 bottles, 250.
Oh, but
the Ben picked it up. I went, whoa, you can put that back. She went, oh, Dad, it's only 250. Next, I went, get it in the trolley. Go on.
Yeah.
Get to.
Hey, you're all giving you like Raza. Have you got your away shorts on the day? What shorts have you got on the day?
You know what it is? I was searching for my yellow away shorts. I was gonna put them on.
I was howling watching that, Raza, mate. I had the shorts. Who just buys the shorts and socks without the shirt? You absolute deviant.
I went through a stage, man, right? Of just buying football shorts. We're playing by the side, you know. We used to wear the same top, so I was just used to buy football shorts. So like, I've got loads of Turn in England football shorts, but I never bought the top. So not to worry. But no, I've just got black Adidas shorts on today.
All right, need bother. Your sartorial elegance is always to be admired, Raza.
Well, you know.
Chris, in the preview, which I know you've been on quite some hosting duty this week as well.
Been non-stop, mate,
non-stop. I think you went with a 1-1 draw. I think Dino went with a 1-0 with Harvey Barnes scoring, and then was it Andy? Was it Andy who was on?
I think they all went. Andy.
He went with a 2. I think he went 2-1. He went 2-1 with Murphy and Big Nick, I think. If I get that right. You went with a 1-1. Andy in particular wasn't very happy with that prediction, saying it was worthless. It might as well have been a defeat. What are you doing? Have you revised? Yeah, haven't seen the team and spending time with such positive elements as me and Raza. Have you revised your prediction, or do you think you're still going to stick with a 1-1?
I think we'll get beat now. Spend it we used to. I think. Do you know what it is? The bonus about this game is that we're not wearing that god awful green shirt, which we do not perform very well in. So it is going to be the blue shirt that we're wearing. So there's a positive to take from it. I'm still sticking with 1-1, mind. I can't sit here and lie and say I'm confident about this when I know how bad our away form has been. I just can't. Like, I'd be kidding myself and fooling everybody else if I was to say that. So I'm going to say 1-1 draw still. I'm sticking with it. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think that the point is going to help out in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
But it's not a defeat, which is crucial heading in that international break. But yeah, it's a point, but I'm not happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Raza, is there an air of positivity in Hollow Green this afternoon?
You've got to be, haven't you? I'm going to say 2-1. Big Nick and Tonali. I'm going to go 2-1 positive. There we go. We'll probably get hammered now, right? But not to worry.
Yeah, like I am going to go for a win, but it's complete blind faith. Like, everything tells us about these previous away performances, but it's a bit like I was thinking back, like, now we're kind of in the good, the good times, relatively speaking, Chris. And then I remember watching the podcast years ago, when we're under like McLaren and Bruce and like even like sort of the back end of Pardew and things like that, where you would be going into games like on a losing streak of like you'd lost the last 4 of the last 6, having squeezed in a few draws, and like, how did people manage even then to be like, you know what? Even though we're playing Arsenal today, I fancy we're for a win. Like, where does like.
It's because we could always sneak a result, no matter which the manager was. We could always sneak a decent result. It was just we went on absolute runs of form where it was the worst, where we'd go and lose 4 after that. Like, but we'd always sneak a result in there somewhere.
Yeah. So I think even McLaren, I remember there was a game under McLaren, was it Man United or Liverpool, where like we beat them and it was like, oh, right, now this is it. And then you'd gone on and then you know.
Well, just look at that the season we got relegated under McLaren. It was I'm sure it was McLaren. He started the season and we played Southampton, I think it was, at home. It might have finished 2-2, but we're putting an unbelievable performance.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the real deal, this team.
Yeah.
Then obviously, look how that one ended up. Just to jump in as well, Roger, just because we're doing our predictions, we've currently got a poll on Instagram running at the moment about the results today. Obviously, we're 10 minutes before kickoff, and the current vote is 27% Brentford win, 27% draw, and 45% Newcastle United win. So that's the way the fan base is voting at the moment.
Optimistic, we'll say then. Optimistic. Raza, do you share this optimism? Like, do you think we're going to get that victory then? Did you say 2-1?
I said 2-1, Big Nick and Tonali. Yes, because I didn't want to jinx things, We can't be as bad as the West Ham away. We can't.
I said that after Leeds.
I've said it now.
Is there any way we can, call in a bomb scare? Can we call in a bomb scare at the G-Tech?
I mean, if we are as bad as the West Ham game, then serious questions need asked. Yeah. I'd like to think they've had a rocket up their arse, So we cannot be as bad as the West Ham game. It's every one of them were terrible and positive thoughts. Oh well, lads, 3 points.
I'm gonna go with a 2-0 win, like just because I can, and I don't know. There's no reason, function, thought gone behind it. It's just total, like I said before, blind faith in the lads. Totally believe in Eddie. Totally believe in the players. It just needs to click, as the press have been asking Eddie in the pre-game. So 1-1, 2-1, and I'm going with 2-0. We'll take some predictions. I'm sure I'll start popping up on the chat, and I'll share those with you when they come up. Chris, thank you very much for joining us today. I appreciate it. Are you just gonna? I'm assuming you're just gonna listen on the wireless today. Or are you just tuning your wireless into Metro Radio?
I'm just gonna stand outside Raz's window like this, holding for Lucasade.
You're looking at the short I'm wearing. He's telling lies, and he's just got to see what short I've got on.
And luckily, fortunately, it's not sunny, so they're not out on the line. So you kind of go and grab a pair for yourself, because
Newcastle Airport are using them as a windsock. Don't worry about that. Oh man,
the wind shorts. Raza, thank you very much for joining us today as well.
Cheers,
I think we've had Decker. Even Decker's joined us today. Air positivity. No chance, was it? No chance we are getting anything today.
Ever the optimist is Decker, isn't he?
And I like the way he joined us. He joined us at 8:40. Well, no, sorry, 1:48. And he's saying, "Good afternoon, lads." Right, it's right towards the end. Impeccable timing as ever, Decker. Thank you very much for that. Chris, you'll be doing, I'm assuming, an Horse Men of Faces podcast coming up after this game. When will that be?
So that will be tomorrow night, so Monday night, probably somewhere between 8 and 8:15. We're back in the studio this week as well, I believe. Last week we're at home, last minute recording at home, but we're back in the studio this week. So live, normally about 8:10.
Yeah, cool. And there's not many of these podcasts go live very frequently, especially with sort of reactions.
Not studio based. Plenty of do it at home, but not studio based, mate.
Studio based. So
the
top studio based podcast live on offer, I would say.
We'll put that on the flyer.
That was a little bit wordy. You might want to put it into ChatGPT. Just get it get a little bit sort of finely polished and finely tuned, and then it'll probably be ready for human consumption and not just sort of like blurted out of my mouth here as we speak. Raza, enjoy the game, mate. Hopefully the fan zone is absolutely rocking later on.
I can hear them doing stairs, yes. Your little mate's on a fine voice.
Oh, is he gone, Raj? Is he?
He is. He's got his Nick Pope goalie outfit on today.
Oh, has he got the pink one?
Wrapped up for Christmas, but he's seen it last night and he never took it off. He's had it on the bed now.
You've got your Christmas shopping already.
Wait, you've got to be organised,
I'm impressed.
I'm impressed. I mean, he's got one less present now, because he wore it last night. So hard lines. But anything for it.
Have you got on the shorts as well, or do you just get the?
He's got the shorts and the socks just before Chris asks. He hasn't just get the goalie top. He only got one glove. No, man, I got him two.
As long as it's on his punching.
Well, I was going to say Nick Pope, he needs one glove, doesn't he? He didn't catch it out.
That's all he needs. That's all he needs.
All right. But no, cheers, lads. Enjoyed that. Thank you.
Aye. So remember to like, subscribe, check out the lads on the All Smiling Faces podcast around 8 p.m. Coming up on Monday, and hopefully we'll get a great result today, and all of our away day sorrows will be banished to the history books, hopefully. So I've been Roger, that's been Chris and Raza. Thank you very much for joining us. Get your cans open and let's enjoy an excellent performance away from home at Brentford. Thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Hey Ho, Let's Go. Ciao for now.
Should play local hero now.
Try our best.